This is Business Week Armenia, CivilNet's weekly economic digest. Here's what you need to know this week. In his first public remarks since becoming Armenia's economy minister, Gevorg Papoyan last week insisted there is no systemic corruption within his agency and pledged his priority would be to diversify the country's trade ties. There is no systemic corruption in the economy ministry or the government, Papoyan told reporters, while leaving open the possibility there may be individuals doing something wrong or abusing their positions. Those people, in his view, must be punished. Papoyan, a former lawmaker from Armenia's ruling Civil Contract Party and a close ally to Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, formally took over at the ministry last week, taking charge of the agency in the aftermath of a sprawling corruption investigation that brought down his predecessor and a number of other officials, as well as one of Armenia's most prominent entrepreneurs. Former Minister Vahan Karobyan was dismissed, indicted, and placed under house arrest last month, alongside 4 of his subordinates and 3 current and former executives at the tech firm Synergy, after Armenia's intelligence and investigative authorities probed alleged mishandling of public procurements. They have all rejected the charges against them. Papoyan called for observers to maintain a presumption of innocence and said he would refrain from commenting on the case further until investigators finish their probe. Continuing, he told reporters, as minister, he plans to prioritize efforts to diversify Armenia's economy, which not only remains highly dependent on Russia, but has in fact grown even more closely connected to that country in recent years. At the same time, Papoyan said that for him, diversifying ties does not mean replacing one major trade partner with another. We need to increase our trade in all directions, he stressed, though without providing any details on how he plans to do so. Armenia Central Bank this week cut interest rates by 25 basis points to 8.5% as inflation in the country continues to remain well below target levels and the economy continues to grow. 12-month inflation continued to decrease in February, ending the month at negative 1.7%. 12-month core inflation also continued to decrease, ending the month at negative 0.4%, Armenia's monetary authority said in an explanatory note. The central bank stands ready to take adequate actions to ensure that the price stability objective of 4% inflation over the medium-term horizon is met, it added. It marks Armenia's 7th rate cut since last summer. Prior to that, the central bank had not lowered rates for more than 2 years. We must understand we are entering a period where every next step must be more carefully considered because we are operating in an environment where we are now part of the global world, Bank Chief Martin Galstyan told reporters this week. In recent months, Armenia's economy has continued to expand substantially after growing by 8.7% last year and 12.6% the year prior, according to official figures. That has been largely fueled by massive inflows of capital and labor from Russia and a vibrant re-export business. Trade between Yerevan and Moscow topped $7 billion last year, an all-time record. In a separate development, Georgia's monetary authorities this week also moved to cut interest rates in that country by 75 basis points to 8.25%, also citing below target inflation. As in Armenia, in Georgia, a low inflation environment is sustained and headline inflation is well below target, Georgia's national bank said. There are very high chances natural gas prices will remain the same for at least another 8 years as long as there are no major geopolitical and market changes. That is according to Armenia's deputy infrastructure minister, who gave the comments this week to lawmakers. Our work is aimed at using every opportunity to maintain gas prices where they are, Hakop Vartanyan added. A long-standing arrangement between the Armenian government and Gazprom Armenia, the local subsidiary of the Russian state-owned energy giant that holds a monopoly on the country's gas distribution network, allows Yerevan to buy gas from Moscow at a price of about $170 per 1,000 cubic meters, far below international market value. Continuing, Vartanyan conceded he does not expect the Eurasian Economic Union to form a common gas market, a much-discussed proposal that still has yet to materialize, for at least another 3 years. Citing opposition from energy-rich member countries Russia and Kazakhstan, Armenia has long been in favor of such a move. There was no immediate reaction from Gazprom or the Kremlin to Vartanyan's remarks. Despite Vartanyan's apparent optimism, ties between Armenia and Russia have worsened dramatically in recent months, with anger and frustration mounting in Yerevan over what is seen as Moscow's unwillingness or inability to come to Armenia's defense in line with its treaty obligations. Russia has long used steeply discounted gas supplies as a key lever of economic control over other former Soviet countries. Russian imports meet the overwhelming majority of annual gas needs in Armenia, where gas prices have long been a source of political contention. Gazprom last raised prices on Armenia more than 4 years ago, brushing aside strong protests from Pashinyan. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.